Hey, Sussex Squad. So I'm sitting here listening to a video on Brian Squatties where she says things just got really bad for Kate. William distances himself, makes royal family efforts to clean up mess backfires. And it's very, very interesting. I mean, of course, as usual, she makes very good points. I do like this YouTuber, and she basically outlines all the reasons that you know this lie was just such bad taste, for the royal family. It's such a bad look for them to have deceived the public in this way, to just matter of factly come out now after all those months of convincing the public that Kate is practically terminal with cancer. The way they were behaving, the things they were writing in the press, it was like, at any moment you expected to hear that Kate had died, and I think that it was something that was very, very insensitive to so many people in England who really have cancer, and around the world as well, who really are afflicted by this very serious disease. And I think that all of the other shenanigans at that time, including the fake Mother's Day photo and all the fake outings, and, Sun UK with their, outings at the farm shop photos and all these decoys and this, that, and the next. I mean, it was very, very disrespectful to the public, and I think to people who really like Kate and who look to the monarchy for an example, who look to the monarchy for, just some transparency and some respect, I mean, after all, they are funded by the taxpayers, and, the taxpayers, I think, deserve at a minimum honesty, you know. And for me, one of the things that really, um, I mean, I think I knew, but I mean, I kind of tried to explain it away at the time, was the way that the entire royal family was behaving during this year that Kate supposedly, oh, sorry, I don't know why that happens every time I'm making a video. During that year, this past year, 2024, where Kate was supposedly so afflicted with cancer to the point that any move that Meghan made was seen as insensitive to her sister-in-law. And if Harry dared not visit or call or whatever his sister-in-law while she was so afflicted, he too was a monster. But the thing that was really, really interesting for the entire year was the fact that never once has any other member of the royal family expressed any public support for Kate's cancer diagnoses. I mean, King Charles did issue a statement after Kate came out on the bench and told everybody in her palest, weakest voice that, that cancer had been found and she'll now be taking some time off to undergo preventative chemotherapy. But, the women in the family who you would expect, I mean, as women, there's something about women and the affinity that women share with one another, especially where things like cancer are concerned. Because if you're saying that you got cancer after an abdominal surgery, that there are very few places in your body that surgery could be attributed to logically. And one of them has to do with your reproductive areas, your organs, your cervix, your womb, your, things like that other women would be very sympathetic about, or if it's not there, if it's your breast or something, very common places that women get cancer. And so it would be something, I think, that would sort of um, jumpstart, a sisterhood in the royal family where they would sort of gather around Kate to at least publicly to show their support, to talk about these issues. Fergie did talk about her own breast cancer, but I don't recall her ever publicly, expressing, a heartfelt sympathy and concern for her niece-in-law, Kate, and Kate's cancer. Because, I mean, Kate is the next queen. I mean, Kate is their superior. You know, they curtsy to Kate. So you would expect that they would show some kind of sisterhood in Kate's moment of need and in her illness. Not Fergie, not the other one at the what is her name? The Duchess of Edinburgh. She said nothing about it. She expressed no feverish concern. Fergie's daughters, Eugenie and Beatrice, a couple of times they were off partying literally on a plane one time with this guy, Jeremy, whatever his last name is. I never can remember names. The one who said parade Megan through the streets and pelt her with you know what. This guy was on a plane with several members of the royal family at the same time that Kate supposedly was suffering with cancer. They went off to the Middle East to party, and I thought the body language of this family just does not square with having a member who is on literally practically on her deathbed with cancer. It just was so weird. You also had her sister Pippa, who sorry about that, her sister Pippa, who was photographed in St. Bart's, as I said, on holiday with her husband and children at the same time that her sister supposedly was recuperating from a very serious cancer that would sideline her from royal duties for an entire year. I mean, this had a veneer of seriousness about it that did not compute. It was inconsistent with the behavior of everyone else in the royal family. Andrew never issued a public word of concern. Camilla never issued a public word of concern. Neither did Kate's family, her mother, her father. Nobody in her family issued any real concern about this young woman with such a serious cancer diagnosis that she couldn't work for an entire year. It was very, very, very bizarre. And even when Kate made her video that she was now cancer free, except that you're not allowed to say she's cancer free, the children in the video were exuberant and not at all like children whose mother had been sickly in bed getting treatment for cancer. Also Kate's physical appearance was just not consistent with, someone who had cancer. Her hair, full head of hair, she looking refreshed like she had been at a spa or something for the past year rather than on her sick bed trying to, not to throw up or whatever the chemo, it was a lot. And so for me, it just always was very, very suspect. All of their behavior at that time was very suspect. The timing of when this all started was suspect. It was right after Harry and Meghan came back from Canada from the 1 year from Invictus celebrations, and they got really great press for that. And then all of a sudden, it seemed like William and Kate just went into competition mode for press because Harry and Meghan were getting such great press. I mean, even, so-called royal experts were saying that, the Invictus Games were, Harry was just so good at the Invictus Games. I forgot the guy's name, the fat guy. I mean, sorry to say that, but the fat guy with the round face, Sussex guy, who I'm talking about. He was even, talking about the documentary that was being done at the time about Harry. And, it was so beautiful. It was in the winter. It was gorgeous and they looked great. And then suddenly Kensington Palace started coming up with these weird behaviors and tactics. And then we heard that Kate had cancer after people were demanded, well, where is she? The whole thing was suspect from beginning to end. But I think the most telling part was the behavior of the entire royal family and Kate's family herself. If you want a clue as to what really was going on, look at how they were behaving at that time. Not one person, Zara, said nothing. Andrew's girl said nothing. Camilla said nothing. Fergie said nothing. The Duchess of Edinburgh said nothing. I mean, no one said anything about this cancer. It was just weird. Anyway, that's all for this one. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye.